Hello and welcome, creeps. You're listening to the Umber Tapes, where we dive into unsolved mysteries, disturbing cases, and the downright weird. I'm Gabby.
And I'm Leah. Thanks for creeping in.
The air bites your lungs, sharp, frozen. You can see your breath. There's no moon, just black ocean stretching forever. Then, a sound, a distant bell ringing. Once, twice, 3 times. Voices start rising, confused, then urgent. Someone runs past you. You feel it before you hear it. A shudder deep beneath your feet. Then, not loud, not sudden, slow. The sound of metal moaning. A child starts crying. A man says it's just precautionary. Someone says it's safer on deck. And for a moment, you understand something you're not meant to. This isn't sudden. This isn't chaos. It's slow. It's quiet. This is a ship, giving people just enough time to realize they're going to die. A boat is lowering, half full, already out of reach. You try to shout, but your voice is gone. The ship lurches. Screams rip through the dark. Water is coming. You don't see it yet, but you hear it. Rushing. The deck tilts too far. You can't stand. You're sliding, reaching for anything. And then, it steals the air from your lungs. Cold so violent it feels burning. You can't scream. You cannot even breathe. You hear the echoes of thrashing all around you. The icy cold steals all the thoughts from your head. Paralyzed in both fear and agony, she rises above you, towering. Slowly, the Unsinkable is taken into the ink of the ocean. All sounds fade. The stars blur. Your body stops fighting. Your mind follows. Silence. So, have you ever been on a cruise?
No.
No?
I'm actually scared of the water. Like, I'll go on like a personal boat, but not like a cruise or big like...
So I have been on a cruise, and the funny thing about going on this cruise, I was about 9 years old and we went on like a Royal Caribbean cruise to the Bahamas. And when we did, Hurricane Katrina was right behind us.
Stop.
Yeah, apparently my mom got the tickets like discounted or something like that.
Discounted because there was a hurricane coming, and they were like, nobody else wants these. We'll put them on a discount.
And the whole ship was like rocking so bad. But I remember going outside and seeing the water from the pool just like splashing over the sides of the boat.
That is terrifying.
For real. I mean, like I said, I was like 9.
That is terrifying. That's one of the big reasons that I don't want to go on a cruise is literally because of the Titanic. I'm not even joking.
Okay, that's totally fair.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of stuff on the Titanic and heard a lot of stuff, and of course, obviously watched the Titanic, and it's very nerve-wracking to say the least. Scary. Ugh.
I definitely do have thalassophobia as well. And I wouldn't say it's like pools. If I can see the bottom of something, I'm cool usually. But even in Lake Erie,
you can't see the bottom. And there's fish.
I'll only go so far. In like the ocean, you can go super deep and still see the bottom. But then I start thinking about the aquatic life in there, and it ruins me.
Just the fact too that the ocean is 90% unexplored, so they say.
For real.
That no thanks.
It gets me. Like, we want to go to the moon before we've discovered our ocean
on our own planet.
So like the first time I ever watched the Titanic, I became so obsessed, and it's mainly from that opening shot where they show the Titanic under the water and it has those like dripping icicles on it. It just looks so haunting and like beautiful, and it instantly made me think of like ghosts. It didn't make me think like, oh, we're about to go on this dramatic love story. It's just made me think of ghosts.
If you haven't seen the Titanic, you should totally watch it.
I don't know how many people truly have not seen that movie, and
I know
it's totally a story that we all know, but we're going to tell it to you anyway. And you might be wondering, like, why are you talking about the Titanic? Like, aren't you supposed to be like unsolved mysteries and like spooky stuff? But the Titanic story literally has everything. It's got death, destruction, conspiracies, ghost stories, everything.
And I'm sure you're going to learn a couple of things you don't know. I guarantee it.
The Titanic's maiden voyage began on April 10th, 1912, departing from Southampton. What some may not know is that the Titanic nearly had an accident when departing. She nearly collided with a ship called the New York, only missing her by 4 feet. It made 2 scheduled stops in Cherbourg and Queenstown before heading out onto the Atlantic on April 11th. Its destination, New York City. There was no reason to think anything would go wrong.
And Jack Dawson was in the restaurant winning some money to get some first class tickets. No, actually, he won. He got like
Lowest class ever.
Yeah, the worst tickets you could get.
So I thought this was super funny that when the Titanic went out on her maiden voyage, she almost collided with a ship called New York.
Yeah.
And she sank on her way to New York.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's some like karma if I ever.
That's bad omen.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have jumped ship right then and there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they didn't know that I was going to happen.
I still would have jumped ship. I would have been like, something ain't right.
But the way that, I mean, people were like, they brought their lives with them.
I know.
It's crazy.
So on April 14th, 9 p.m., Captain Edward Smith retires to his cabin. The night is dark, calm, and moonless. At 9:40 p.m., the Titanic receives a warning from the MESBA about heavy packed ice and large icebergs directly within the path of the Titanic. This message doesn't reach the bridge. At 10 p.m., lookouts Frederick Fleet and Reginald Lee begin their shift in the crow's nest, looking out with just their naked eye, no binoculars. At 11:30, the SS Californian radios Titanic to warn her that they are stopped and surrounded by ice. Titanic's wireless operator, overwhelmed with passenger messages, tells him to stop jamming the signal. One thing I want to ask, why did they not have binoculars? I actually figured this out. So it said that the lookout that was intended to be on the ship, he moved ships last minute. And he took the key to the locker for the binoculars with him.
Oh, so they didn't have anything. Not even like a spyglass?
They were just using their naked eyes.
Wow.
But I want to know, you're supposed to be doing a thorough job here. Why not break the lock?
Yeah, break the lock. And if you really genuinely plan on using your naked eye, you should be able to see a ginormous iceberg that close to you.
We can actually go into why they didn't see the iceberg.
I want to circle back to the person that was supposed to have received the messages at 11:30 at night, but he was overwhelmed with passenger messages. What would be more important to you? Would it be the other ships trying to contact you about something? Because it's not like they're just contacting you for no reason. They're obviously telling you this is why they're contacting you, is because it's a legitimate
Especially
issue.
the message that was sent.
Yes.
If I was like the telegraph operator and I had received that message, I would be like, this is important.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't put the passengers' random messages as a priority over a message about your safety. Like, I
would
don't
say
understand.
He was being paid probably pretty well to just simply receive those messages for those fancy pants people.
Probably, yeah.
Well, if you want to go into the reason why it said they couldn't actually see the iceberg, I can talk about that.
Yeah, because, I mean, that's your job. That's your whole job. That's the only reason you're on the ship, so you should probably have figured that one out.
Well, it's a theory that people talk about. It's called the mirage theory, and it's basically when warm water meets freezing cold water, it creates a thing called thermal inversion. And that sandwich of the warm air and the cold air being trapped together, it creates an optical illusion of the air just above the sea level.
So they did see an iceberg, but thought it was a mirage, or they didn't see an iceberg, assumed that if they did see something that it wasn't an iceberg. Like, I don't know.
What they're saying is that this mirage had made the iceberg invisible.
Oh.
So they did not see it until the very last second.
I feel like that doesn't make sense. Just like the air in general is like a foggy type of
science,
thing?
bro. I don't know exactly the science behind it, but that's why they say they didn't see it. And scientists have actually looked into this claim, and they've proven that this is a thing that happens.
Okay. All right.
Well, at 11:40 p.m., Lookout Frederick Lee spots an iceberg. He rings the bell and calls the bridge. First Officer William Murdoch orders hard to starboard, and the engines reverse, but the ship grazes the iceberg at the starboard side. At 11:45 p.m. to 12 a.m., the ship begins taking on water. Designer Thomas Andrew inspects the damage and informs Captain Smith that the ship is critically wounded and will sink.
Wow. Okay. Hold on. I didn't know that. I didn't know that they knew when it hit that it was going to sink. How did they immediately know that?
When it hit the iceberg, the engineer, Thomas Andrew, he goes down and he inspects it, and they knew because water had started going into those watertight compartments.
Okay. And so 6 of them.
Exactly.
Was it 6 of them you had
exactly.
filled? Okay.
And he knew that
once 6 fill up,
she had about an hour to live. Could you imagine, though, being told that this ship that you were on is allegedly unsinkable is going to sink?
And the one time that it left, the only trip that it ever made, wasn't it?
Her maiden voyage.
The maiden voyage.
Allegedly.
Okay. Yes. But the one trip that the unsinkable ship ever took and it sank, to me, is just fucking insane.
It's very sad because these people did have this idea that this thing couldn't go down. They thought they were in the safest place on Earth.
Well, it was as big as a little city. I mean, you wouldn't think. I feel like when you're on something that large, you just don't think.
You feel very secure.
Yes, you do. They're like little mini cities. You don't even realize you're on water. Almost.
No,
you know what I mean?
You didn't feel the water beneath you.
Yeah.
Especially the high society and the hoity-toities that are in there and these luxurious places.
And so much money was put into it to make it unsinkable, air quotes. And you just put all your trust in them and you just think it's not going to happen. Just like in planes, I feel like.
Oh, God. We just talked about the airport.
Yeah, but it's similar, though, where you just put your trust in this whole thing that to get from A to B or A to Z, and you never know. You never genuinely know.
Clearly you have, because you do take a plane over
Probably not. I would personally think that a plane would go down before a ship would go down, and that I could more likely survive a shipwreck than a plane crash.
So why have you been on a plane?
So I would feel safe on a ship than a plane.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
12:05 a.m., Captain Smith orders the crews to uncover the lifeboats and muster the passengers. At 12:25 a.m., the RMS Carpathia receives the distress signal and begins racing towards Titanic's location. She was roughly 58 miles away. At 12:45 a.m., the lifeboat number 7 is lowered into the water. The bow is heavily submerged at 2 a.m., and the propellers lifted up out of the water. Captain Smith relieved his crew of duty, signaling that it was every man for himself. At 2:18, the ship's lights flicker. The structural stress becomes too much, and the ship snaps in two between the third and fourth funnels. At 2:20, the Titanic disappears completely underneath the surface of the North Atlantic. Out of 2,224 people, only 712 survived. That leaves 1,512 people dead. Most of them didn't drown, they froze.
That is insane because the water was so cold. And they have that museum in is it Tennessee where you can actually feel
There's a few of them,
how
but
cold
yeah.
the water is. Oh, okay.
They say that people can literally only stick their hand in there for less than a second.
Yeah, I mean, we're mammals, we're warm-blooded. We can't survive in that. What happened? So one of the big questions I have is the lifeboats that were still on board, don't those float up? Once the ship sinks, do those detach and float where they could have gotten onto some of those lifeboats?
So the lifeboats were actually connected to these crane type things that will lift them up and down out of the water.
Yeah, the pulley systems.
And there were firmly connected to that. In fact, some of the lifeboats were still left at Titanic. Not every lifeboat was even shipped out.
Yeah, right.
Because they were stuck.
They were stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So they couldn't have got a chainsaw or some.
It said that cutters. Officer Murdoch actually did that.
Tried to cut them? Yeah,
he tried. He was
stuck.
So you heard the conspiracy about him allegedly offing himself?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that
But
documentary that we
people-
watched, they said that there was proof that he stayed until the very end trying to get people onto these boats, and he was swept away as Titanic was taken under. So, no, I mean, I guess they don't just float up when the water rises. Not
you would
precisely.
think that, though. I feel like, or just like things that came out of the ship, like wooden doors, or just, I know that sounds crazy, but obviously like in the Titanic, but other objects that floated up that they could have
Right. I'm out here thinking that there had to be something they could latch onto and just huddle together and stay warm, use each other's like body temperature on a piece.
And a lot of the lifeboats that actually were launched weren't to full capacity.
No, not even close.
But I mean, according to the movie Titanic, I'm assuming it's correct where they were like, we don't want to go by these people because they're in such a panic. They'll just tip the boat over trying to get into it. So that I totally understand too, but I don't know. There's so many questions.
Alleges that like the unsinkable Molly Brown, that she actually fought to go back and save people, but they allegedly said like, you better sit down and shut your hole. I'll throw you overboard.
Yeah, because it is. I mean, and as sad as that is, it's true. They probably would have tipped their boat and killed more people because they were in such a panic, and I would have been. I would have been like, get me on that fucking boat right now.
Yeah, I agree. I would have
tried to swim to them. And
I just think they needed to ship them out to full capacity. Like, forget all the classism. Like, I don't care. They obviously wanted women and children to go first, but why are you splitting up families? Especially in times like that. Women couldn't survive without their men. They weren't allowed in the workforce. They couldn't provide for their family after they lost their husband. So why not ship the families out together?
Yeah, and I think too with just the men in general, they were trying to be chivalrous, but at the same time, it was like, who cares? Like, it's life or death.
Said, every man for himself.
Yeah.
So you should have gotten on that ship.
And there was a lot more like women and children that probably could have gotten on, where there were some men obviously on the boats. That
there is myths that men would like put on women's shawls or to like get in the boats, just claim that they were women. So did you want to go into some of these conspiracy theories here? Because there are a few of them that are wild.
Yes, let's do it.
The first one, this actually kind of connects to the mirage theory that I was talking about. The Californian was actually between 10 and 12 miles from Titanic when she hit the iceberg. The captain of the Californian stated that he was informed about Titanic's white distress flares, but didn't immediately take action due to believing that Titanic was a different, smaller ship, signaling that they were simply in the area. Distress signals are typically red. It is stated that this is a reason he believed the ship wasn't the Titanic, because it appeared smaller due to the mirage theory.
Yeah, and I feel like, okay, so size-wise, comparing, like, he saw a ship. There was a ship, no doubt. However, it was a different size than he thought it was.
Yes.
That's totally different than just not entirely seeing it at all. Like, they didn't see the iceberg at all. Like, there's a difference between size difference and just not even there. So I don't know.
This is true.
Mirage theory this, the mirage theory that. Like, I think they're all full of shit.
Well, maybe they did initially see the iceberg, but they thought it was something that the Titanic could simply just
like it was
drive
smaller.
over. Yeah.
Like it was, yeah.
So they obviously didn't alert. Like, these boats are going through ice fields all day long.
Yeah.
Obviously, they thought they could handle a smaller one and didn't immediately
until
alert.
They got closer to it and they were like, oh shit, this is actually really fucking big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the fact that he didn't even wake the radio operator to be like, hey, can you see if that's
them and
Titanic
see what's going on?
and make sure?
Yeah. But I see where he was coming from with the white flares opposed to the red flares, because I feel like maybe I would have thought the same thing. Like, oh, hi, how you doing? White flares. But why would you blow them off at all? Kind of.
So this is,
if you weren't in trouble.
This is kind of what gets me though, is when Californian originally contacted Titanic and told them like, hey, we're stopped for the night because we're stuck in an ice field. We don't want to travel during the night. We want to wait till morning. When he's seen this ship, regardless of if it's Titanic or not, he obviously should have known that this ship was in distress, especially even more if it's a smaller ship than Titanic.
But what I feel like too, like what would they do? Like they couldn't get to them. They are stuck in an ice field also. What would they have done? Gotten all their rowboats out and let the whole crew try and go save people that they have no idea if they're even in distress?
I mean, to a degree, because he should have at least radioed Titanic and seen what was up.
Yeah, agreed, 100%.
And
radioed that boat. They didn't know what boat it was.
He had a responsibility, like according to maritime laws, that he had a responsibility to radio in and check what that was, regardless of the color of the flares.
Yeah.
Especially if he knew they were in a dangerous area. And like you said, to their credit, like they are stopped because of icebergs. But what did the Carpathia do? The Carpathia went through the ice field to rescue people on the Titanic. That's somewhat invalid to me.
Well, obviously the captain has some thinking to do and some fucked up shit to make up for.
Like I said, I don't think it was malevolent, like the reason why he did it. I didn't think he was being malicious in it. I just think he
didn't know what to do, probably. He was probably all sorts of confused. Also trying to keep his own crew safe by being stopped, and
I can speculate,
I don't know.
I could definitely judge him for at least not radioing.
Yeah.
And being like, what is up? Wake your radio guy up. I don't care. Wake him up.
Or go yourself. If you're awake and seen it, go use your radio. You should know how. You're the captain. Go say hello. What is happening? But I don't know. What time was that? What time did they see the flares going off-ish? I'm just wondering if it was when the radio stopped working. Was it somewhere in that time frame?
No, they had sent the flares out like almost immediately after they found out the ship was going to sink.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. Okay.
So probably around like 1.
Okay.
Yeah. So
gotcha. I was trying to help him out, but
I don't know. You're probably giving him more grace than he deserves in that point. He was actually like publicly criticized for this for a long time.
Makes sense. So even these poor people. Jackass.
So this is like the big one. And I kind of gave you the big conspiracy.
Oh, okay.
This is the one I kind of gave you little snippets on when we were discussing this the other day. Okay, so before Titanic, there was Olympic. Olympic was White Star's pride and joy. On the Olympic's 5th journey to New York from Southampton, she was carrying 2,164 passengers. Olympic was struck attempting to navigate out of a channel by Hawke, a military ship that was sucked into her wake. The cement bow of Hawke struck the stern of Olympic, leaving a hole over 8 feet deep. She limped back to the shipyard and was dry docked next to Titanic. It was stated that the accident had in fact been the Olympic's fault and the insurance refused to cover the damage, thus leading to the theory that they had swapped the ships, putting Olympic in the place of Titanic and sending her off on her maiden voyage as an elaborate insurance fraud. It sounds totally extreme, but this one
sounds totally realistic though. Yeah, you just lost millions of dollars and now you're not gonna. I
don't trust anyone, especially when this much money is involved.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, but but there were subtle differences between the two ships.
Very subtle.
So were they subtle enough that they could have easily changed them?
Do I personally believe they could change them? Yes.
What, for millions of dollars, I'd fucking change them. I would.
Yeah.
It'd be a simple fix to change for millions of dollars.
I think it would be easier for them to be like, okay, let's just send Olympic off because we just spent all this money building Titanic and, we want a beautiful ship. Olympic is damaged. We can't, it's either we fix her and we put her back out there and then who knows how long her shelf life is going to be, or we do this ruse and we sink her. Now, I don't know if they actually intentionally sunk her, but
maybe they were trying. Well, no, because honestly, it wouldn't have sank unless the iceberg hit it. right? It was doing just fine up until then.
Yeah.
So who's to say something else was going to happen?
So there's that thing that I was saying when they were allegedly intended to arrive ahead of schedule. Now there's like also conspiracies of the fact that they were pushing the ship past her limits, that she was going way too fast in such a dangerous area.
Okay. Yeah. So they might have been purposely trying to crash, but hopefully not that big of a crash, but enough to cover up the insurance claim.
To at least sink her, but maybe they thought they would be able to get everyone out. Maybe they thought, oh, the Californian's this close, the Carpathia is this close, you know, we might be able to get out of here.
Yeah.
And still get our
maybe. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a stretch, but it's possible. It's possible.
I think it's possible. I mean,
for the simple fact that they were pushing the limits and they all knew better. They didn't bring the binoculars, because now we're getting into like all these little details.
Yes.
The radio guy was like, "Fuck you! Stop calling here. Like, I don't want to talk to you. Go home." And and was just trying to get him off the line. Well, you know. I don't know. Yeah, I guess all those things would like add up where it's too big of a coincidence that all those things happen, or it's literally just a coincidence.
I don't know if I believe in coincidences. I feel like a lot of things do have a reason, and a lot of things are planned and coordinated, and we just don't see the coordination happening.
All those people, like, and none of them survived. So
that's what I'm saying.
So I think
they thought they were going to get the people out. They thought everybody was going to get out alive, and like I said, the ship was only the Californian was only 10 miles away.
And Murdoch was like, well, we fucking blew it, guys. See ya. So he was in on it.
It's even more. This totally adds to it, and it's a secondary conspiracy, but it's even more so adding to that theory, because when you find out who was actually the major, who was the major shareholder for White Star Line, is JP Morgan.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Like JP Morgan Chase, like the bank?
Yes.
Like, but the bank? Okay.
Yes. So JP Morgan did own the White Star Line. He was actually supposed to be on the Titanic for her maiden voyage.
Oh, and he wasn't.
And he canceled last minute. But get this even more so. He had like 3 wealthy rivals, because he wanted to start up the central banking system, and these people were opposed to it. These people,
were they on the ship?
John Jacob Astor, Benjamin Guggenheim, and Isidore Strauss.
They were all on the ship. I already know those names.
On the ship.
Bro.
And they died.
Bro. He was trying to take out his competition and get millions off the insurance claim. And all those crew and everybody, they were just, you know.
I think those two together make the switch theory like so much more.
Yeah. They were just,
believable.
the poor crew who was obviously in on it, were just collateral damage.
Maybe the crew wasn't in on it though. Maybe the captain.
So many coincidences.
Maybe the captain was in on it.
Yeah, but he went down with the ship.
Because I think
he didn't have to.
I think this went awry.
Yeah, well, obviously.
I think the plan was, we're going to sink the ship. We're going to get everybody out alive.
There wasn't even enough lifeboats to get everybody out alive.
But maybe they thought the proximity of other ships would have made it okay.
Jeez.
Like maybe they thought it was
going... So you think they seen the iceberg? Like, the thing that sunk it, or that was just not even part of the plan.
So
like the iceberg was just not even.
Conflicting things here, because that mirage theory is like a real legitimate thing, and it still happens to this day to sailors.
Mm-hmm.
But they're saying that that's the science behind it, why they didn't see it. I would say maybe they didn't see it. Maybe they didn't see it, but maybe the captain did, and he was like, all right. And it's said that if Titanic would have hit the iceberg head on, she would have stayed afloat. But instead, He said hard starboard, and they turned.
If they would have just hit it head on, like that would have obviously been a better option to still get your insurance claim, still save everybody's life, still, I mean, maybe obviously it wouldn't have killed the people that he was trying to obviously kill off, but but you know, I mean, it still would have done a lot more than just nothing, because they didn't, I mean, he probably got the insurance claim, I'm assuming, out of the sunken ship, and everybody else who lost their belongings had all their insurance claims and whatever, but the whole point of it just, I think, definitely went awry. And
so there was a whole trial actually on if, like, even if the ship broke in two, because there's conflicting stories on what actually happened, and people say nobody knew what happened
until now.
Yeah, I mean,
we know now.
We can definitely get into modern day, because there's a lot to talk about modern day with Titanic.
I'm so glad that they did this, though, that they have not given up on the pure hard facts of finding out what happened to the Titanic.
For sure.
Like, all the details and all the specifics and the what ifs, and it's so interesting.
Long time ago too.
Yeah.
This one is actually, I would say it's creepy. This one used to be the one that got me the absolute most.
Okay.
Okay, so there's this book called Fuelty. It was written in 1898. It was 14 years before the Titanic actually sank. Morgan Robertson wrote that there was a ship called Titan that was also considered unsinkable and hit an iceberg and had too few lifeboats.
Ooh.
This is 14 years before Titanic even sank.
Was it built?
No. 14 years before. I mean, I don't know how long it took them to make Titanic.
Okay, but it was before it was even a thought.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So obviously, Mr. Morgan had read this novel, and he was like Mr. Burns in The Simpsons, like, and he definitely came up with some sort of plan. That's too much of a coincidence. That to the point where it's not a coincidence.
So there's more.
Okay.
So it's actually noted that this book was edited post the sinking of Titanic to make it more aligned with what happened on Titanic.
Get real.
So he was like, I wrote this book that has similarities to the Titanic, but after the Titanic sank, he went in and he edited the book to make it more like what happened on Titanic.
Why?
Probably book sales.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, probably book sales.
Okay.
But it's noted that he was like a longtime sailor, and he was very familiar with maritime laws and different ships and areas that ships go down at. So maybe he did like use his knowledge to write this book. He was probably like, oh, well, Titanic is a huge ship. She would go down then. But 14 years before is still quite well,
what do you know any like real similarities between the ships themselves? Just the fact that they were unsinkable and there was too few lifeboats.
It's also strange though is that he named his ship Titan.
Oh, okay.
14 years before Titanic sank.
That just clicked into my head.
Yeah.
Titanic.
Yes.
Okay.
So
I'm a little slow.
Like I said, that used to be the one that got to me because I have obviously heard about these conspiracies prior to actually researching them. And when I read that he edited the story, that kind of turned me off. I was like, that's
because he's playing into it. Yeah, he's playing into it. But it was still enough before that to be
yeah, for weird. Sure. So there's another author here. His name is William Thomas Stead. He wrote a short story about a small vessel meeting its end after striking a large mail steamer. The passengers on board all drowned to there not being enough lifeboats. Stead was a social reform advocate, feeling that maritime laws and regulations were too relaxed. His story was meant to be a cautionary tale to change the way safety is handled on the sea. Get this, though. This is crazy. He believed in spiritualism, and spiritualism was like a huge thing in the Edwardian period with like the Fox sisters, where they would make the tables move and all that. And,
Okay.
you know what I mean? It was a
like
fun
seance type of stuff.
It was a fun time for that. So he obviously met with a bunch of like spiritualists, and he claimed that he had premonitions of drowning.
Oh,
like that's how he would meet his end, and he died on the Titanic.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I believe that kind of stuff though too. They say it's a premonition, but to me it's more just, it could be your ancestors just like whispering in your ear what's going to happen, or like somebody knows and somebody's telling you and you see it in a vision of a premonition, but there's someone giving you some sort of information behind the scenes.
I'm very skeptical. But what's even funnier though is that like his daughter claimed that he contacted her beyond the dead and told her about the ship sinking. Yeah, like he explained to her like what happened and how he died on the Titanic. He said that he reached out from the grave and contacted her and explained to her what happened on the Titanic.
This was when he was still alive.
No, he was dead. She's saying that she claimed that he talked to her from the dead.
Oh.
Through spiritualism.
Hoopla.
Oh, but you were all on board with the other stuff.
No, but the premonition that he had was before this happened, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
so that. I mean, but afterwards, she obviously knows what happened to him. So
could that just be his knowledge of and like trying to change the way things are done on ships?
Could be, but if he's that like, involved in ships and that's obviously on his mind all the time, it could have just come to him in a dream, and he said it was a premonition.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
So this one, you said the last one was hooey, but this one...
Well, the daughter. She's full of shit.
This one is like real hooey to me.
Okay. Tell me the hooey.
There's a rumor that there's a sarcophagus lid of Princess Amun-Ra on board the Titanic. It's said to carry a curse. And they're saying that that's why the Titanic sank, was because they had this cursed artifact on board. But there's literally zero record or evidence of this thing being on board the Titanic.
Oh, well then fuck that. I thought you meant that actually was on there. Because if it was, like... No. Oh no, those curses. Ask the mummy.
Yeah.
They know.
That's a good one.
Ask Brendan Fraser.
That's a solid one.
Yeah, if it's not on there, then no.
I mean,
you can't just say something's on there and it's not on there. No,
it could have been, and there's just not records of it. I don't know. They documented
and recorded everything, and if that was that prominent of a thing that was on that boat, there is a 0% chance there would not have been some sort of record. Yeah, there's no way.
I mean, and you think like a sarcophagus lid, it's got to be like at least the size of this table.
Yeah, like yeah, that's a whole human being plus like extra.
That's the one that I think is hooey, but it keeps coming up. People talk about it all the time on the conspiracy forums.
That's what I get.
A lot of our Titanic Reddit stuff. So this one kind of gets me too. So in 1926, while traveling the North Atlantic, the Olympic suddenly began to vibrate violently. The shaking continued for about 2 minutes, causing significant alarm among passengers and crew, believing they had struck something and would suffer the same fate of their sister ship, the Titanic.
Turbulence.
The earthquake triggered a massive underwater landslide, which generated a powerful tsunami that struck the coast of Newfoundland, causing 28 deaths. Unknown to the passengers at the time, they were traveling very close to the Titanic graveyard when this happened.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's almost...
So stop traveling through there. Y'all don't understand by now.
So this is like a Bermuda Triangle of some sort here. Why doesn't it have a name yet? Just the North Atlantic is what they keep calling it.
Yeah, but I just... Oh, gosh.
Well, number one, nature's fucking scary, okay? She's scary from all sides here. We got
I've never been involved in an earthquake, but I've seen them on TV and they're terrifying.
Didn't they say like we felt one? I think it was like in 2008 or something. It was super, super small and minute, but something happened then.
Maybe.
I remember something on the news about it. But it's like Titanic was like reaching out from the grave, like it should have been you.
Or go no further. Stop. Jeez.
Yeah,
who died? You said 28 died. Was it on like the islands?
On the coast of Newfoundland.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't on the boat.
No, it wasn't on the boat, but it's just like the fact that these things keep happening and taking lives. And it's really weird because this movie is actually like one of my favorite guilty pleasures. Ghost ship.
Oh!
And it's so funny, and I feel like it does connect or correlate because I feel like
I love
this is taking souls.
Mm-hmm.
Is it not? Like this patch, this area of Earth is just continuing to take souls over and over.
And a lot of them. I mean, 1,500 people on the Titanic.
That's a
lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of people. And it's one of those things where they're probably like, you can hear their cries if you stand outside on the brig and just
That's funny.
Don't.
Because we're about to talk about this. We're about to talk about the paranormal experiences that people have regarding the Titanic.
And just like the pure energy coming from the deaths like echo. No, yeah, that's sad.
That's almost exactly like what is claimed to have happened here. So there's this piece called The Big Piece, and it's 15 tons, and it's a piece of Titanic's hull, and it was brought to the surface and brought to Las Vegas for an exhibit. Security guards have claimed to see a lady in black walking around the structure, reporting to also feel crippling dread and the feeling of being watched. It's believed that this is the spirit of Edith Evans. She was one of only 4 first-class women who did not make it out alive. It was reported she gave her seat to a friend with a child.
Oh, well, that was nice. Thanks, Edith. You're cool.
So what do you think about, like, them actually having ghostly experiences around
that
these
piece?
artifacts?
I think that is such a significant piece of, like, an item, like a piece of that boat.
That's huge.
And they aren't going to be able to, I mean, they've recovered artifacts, but that is like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's such a significant item that I really genuinely do think that there probably is some energy connected to that.
What is that thing called when it's like an echo? Like they say that the walls hold energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like a spiritual echo or something like that, where it holds like the trauma that it's been through. Like one of the reasons why
that's what I'm trying to say. The energy
agents have to disclose when somebody's been murdered in a house. It's like they claim that pieces of structure like hold memories and trauma. So I would imagine that huge piece, I mean 15 tons is huge.
Yeah, that's ginormous. 30,000 pounds, right? A ton is,
girl,
2,000 pounds.
You don't know. I don't know.
That's a lot.
So that's not the only paranormal thing that's happened that is around the Titanic, like ghostly things happening. So in Atlanta, Georgia, there was an aquarium in 2008 and 2009, and it hosted an artifact exhibit of items on the Titanic. Security guards working the night shift reported seeing tall, dark figures standing in the shadows of the simulated boilers. When approached, they would tell the person the exhibit was closed. The figure would simply vanish or step behind a partition where there was no exit. In the sinking gallery near the display of personal items, it was reported that wet footprints would be found walking away from the exhibit. Staff reported that a heavy portrait of J. Bruce Esme, the director of the White Star Ship Line, would repeatedly be found on the floor in the morning. The staff allegedly had video footage of the frame sliding down the wall rather than being knocked off. This footage has not been seen by the public. Funny enough, though, this same exact report on Bruce Esme happens at the Las Vegas exhibit as well. Not that this photo is knocked off, but that it slides down the wall.
Jeez. You're giving me the willies. I think that is very likely. I think it's very likely. If their artifacts are in there, obviously they have an artifact of his.
Yeah, I mean,
and it
this guy,
represents him.
people did not like him.
Well, and that would lead me to believe then he's sliding his own photo rather than knocking it down, because if they didn't like him, then they would have knocked it down, right?
Shame.
That's kind of...
So visitors of the aquarium also had the same classical, traditional, ghostly experiences, like disembodied voices, feeling cold, being touched.
The simulation of the boiler room I can totally see that with the dark figures, because they were said to have been working up until ground zero,
not
minute
a
zero.
Single one of them survived.
Yeah, and so I could see that where they're like, we still got work to do, men, and they're there, and they're...
That makes me sad, but obviously they're the true heroes there,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes me even more sad if this thing was intentionally sunk.
Yeah, good people.
Things at this aquarium got so weird that they actually contacted ghost hunters.
No way.
Yeah. So ghost hunters actually did investigate the aquarium, and they captured EVPs and thermal images.
See, that it's true. It's ghost hunters immediately. Yes.
Well, we're familiar with Stephen Tango.
Immediately, yes.
We're friends now.
We're super cool.
At the wreck site itself, obviously we know lots of scientists go down there and do their little experiments. But at the wreckage, scientists often have malfunctioning equipment. They sometimes hear rhythmic tapping and often feel a somber energy emanating from the ship. Engineers have described the wreck as not a piece of metal, but a living entity that feels like it's watching back.
Ooh. That reminds me of the Overlook Hotel.
Ooh.
In Dr. Sleep, where at the end of it, they're
watching him?
It's his...
Yeah, they're trying to take him back.
Yes. Oh, that's what that reminds me of. No, really, if there was lights on, I would immediately believe it.
So they're saying that. I mean, I didn't actually write this one down, but obviously I came across a bunch of stuff that I could not add into this, but some scientists say that they see faces looking out of the portholes.
Yeah. Oh, that's so scary.
This is obviously discredited as pareidolia, where you see faces where
you're looking for a face, and you're gonna see one because your mind's making shit up for you. But
what's even weirder down there, though, and they say that this is probably one of their most unsettling things that they come across, is at the wreck site they find pairs of shoes completely together.
Yeah.
So they're pairs of shoes, 1 foot, 2 foot, and they're together, and they're in perfect condition. So they say that the reason why the shoes are still there is because the agents that they use to tan the leather actually made it repel water and whatever microorganisms in the ocean.
Okay.
But what gets me is this ship,
they're together, though.
And there's pieces of the ship thrown everywhere. How are these shoes?
Well, because they might have been attached to feet or something that they were kept inside, like a wooden box or cardboard box, and the box deteriorated, but they sunk down in that box, and the box is gone, but the shoes are still there. Or something
that could be a thing.
What's deteriorated, or a body, it could have been attached to a person, they disintegrated.
Super creepy, but yeah, that's
shoes are still there.
That's what I envision happening when I hear there's just shoes put together on the you would think there would be one shoe all the way over here and one shoe all the way over there, and definitely not together, just in perfect, pristine condition.
Well, I could see with the tanning agents keeping them in good condition, because
that part definitely makes sense.
They had all sorts of stuff in their things back then, so that we would not use today.
The radium girls, we could talk about that. That's a fun story.
The radium girls?
Oh yeah,
I don't know what they.
Yeah, maybe I'll look into that one.
Yeah, we'll look into that one.
So we all know the story of Jack and Rose.
The fake story of Jack and Rose. Yeah.
Oh, fake. I'm sorry.
They're not real.
Oh, there was a man named Henry Samuel Morey. He is an Englishman, and he owned a candy store. He was 38 years old and he was married with a 12-year-old daughter. He fell in love with his 19-year-old shop assistant, Kate Phillips.
That's gross.
Seeking a fresh start,
You can't do that.
had a new life. They boarded the Titanic with second-class tickets, leaving behind his business and family.
So it's just her and him. He left his daughter
He
and
left
his wife.
his entire family
Wow.
to run away
Trifling.
with this 19-year-old
Trifling.
girl.
Well, he does sell candy, so that's already weird.
They used fake names, Mr. and Mrs. Marshall. While on the ship, Henry gave Kate a striking piece of jewelry, a platinum necklace featuring a large blue sapphire surrounded by diamonds. When the Titanic struck the iceberg, Henry did not survive, and his body was never recovered. Kate, however, was placed into a lifeboat. She survived the night in the freezing air, wearing only her nightgown, a crewman's coat, a small purse, and a sapphire necklace Henry had given her.
Aww.
That was not all that Henry had left her with, though. She was pregnant with his child.
No, I'm just kidding.
So,
Jeez. Oh, that's cute. That's so cute. I mean, it's weird, but
I was just about to say,
she's only 19. Yeah, like his daughter was 12. She's 19. Only 7 years apart from his daughter. You weirdo. Why would you do all that? You don't need to do all that. Give that to your wife and not die.
And not
because now you died, and this is what you get. No, that was mean. I shouldn't have said that. But you don't do that. That's trifling.
I mean, like I have no idea how I feel about this.
Was this proven? Like this was proven?
This is
like her necklace was like documented and.
Oh yeah, I mean, I looked this up.
Wow.
These are people.
Yeah. Wonder
It's
where that
obviously
story,
kind of
like,
weird that
Jack and Rose came from. Then how did they? Maybe she was.
Maybe she was in on writing it.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, I have a story for you. Mr. Burns again. I have a story for you.
Well, it would be wild if it didn't really happen, but I mean, everything that I've talked about today is alleged, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean,
can't really prove.
No.
I mean, a lot of this conspiracies, you can't prove the conspiracy.
Yeah, that's the point of this.
Yeah.
That's our shtick.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the fact that he was nearly 20 years older than her.
Yeah, that's not okay. That's messed up.
But it is cool that it's very eerily similar to
Jack and Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take
that
it.
story we all love.
I'll take that.
So, could Jack fit on the door?
Yeah. Yes, he could. He absolutely could have.
I believe he could have too. And I mean, even if she had to like wiggle over and fall halfway into the water for a minute for him to get on, like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
you would have had an even greater likelihood of surviving because you would have been next to each other and keeping each other freaking warm.
Yep. He could have fit on the door. Stupid.
I don't think she wanted him on the door.
She didn't want him on the door. But then until she's 83 years old and she still can't get him off of her mind.
No, dude.
How
was hooked.
I'm 80.
It's been 84 years.
Yeah, 84 years. And I still remember it like it was yesterday. Well, no, so she would have been like 90 something because she was what, 18? No, she was younger. I think she was like 16. Isn't that a thing? Where she was so young? Rose was so young. Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's just say 18 for normal purposes here. But she was very young.
Yeah, she was very young. She might have been like 16 though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was 90, like 8 or something though.
Yeah,
in that movie.
She died in the movie, didn't she? At the very end?
No, she threw her necklace overboard.
And then she drifted off
with her long, luscious locks blowing in the wind. Yeah, she tippy-toed over the.
Oh, I love that movie. God,
barrier.
I want to watch it and cry.
I just love the footage of the real Titanic.
Yeah,
I just love that inside this fake story. I mean, fake. It's a lot. I mean, most of the stuff that he did a lot of research on. I know that, and a lot of the stuff that he knew at that time was all very accurate. Even just what the rooms looked like is extremely accurate. So, It's a good movie for historical purposes.
Dramatization.
Yeah,
too,
of
though.
course.
That's where the fake
add some
Jack sizzle.
And Rose came in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is something very sad to me, but the ship is actually disappearing. Halominus titanicae, an iron-eating bacteria, is slowly eating away at the wreckage of the Titanic. It's called that based on where the bacteria was first discovered, at the site of the Titanic.
Wait, so is this like the only one that this is happening to? Because it's iron?
I think maybe it's just the only one that they've found.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. It's like the universe wants it to disappear.
Yeah. Like the tragedy of it is just too much for the earth to bear. The bacteria excretes a combination of iron oxide and bacteria-filled slime, giving it its appearance of icicles, also known as rusticles, giving Titanic its eerie, haunting look.
That's so sad.
That's like that image of like the rusticles on the bow of the Titanic, like just lit by obviously whatever light they got on the submersibles.
Mm-hmm.
It's so haunting. It's so beautiful. Like how people build like ships in the bottle of Titanic. I want like a painting or a photograph of the decaying Titanic because it's so beautiful. It creeps me out and I love it, but
I really, after watching all these things on the Titanic, I really want to dive to a shipwreck. I mean, I don't care if, that'd be cool if it was the Titanic. You can't dive to the Titanic.
No.
But in a submersible, not like just diving, but I would go visit a shipwreck just to see a cool one though.
So
like I don't want it to be some.
Actually is quite a bit of them in Lake Erie.
Oh, really?
A lot, actually.
Oh my gosh.
So that's
I would
actually,
do that. But you can't even see through Lake Erie. Like, how do you see?
Well, how can you see at the bottom of the freaking ocean? There's literally zero light.
Well, no, because the water's muggy.
Yeah, but
not because it's dark, but because the water's muddy.
I'm sure you can see something.
I'm sure there's something.
That's actually something I want to cover is Lake Erie because there's some spooky ooky stuff going on with Lake Erie too. Being so close to home.
Mm-hmm.
Let's fast forward this clock and take us to relative to modern day because what we're about to talk about happened in 2023. The Titan. Stockton Rush was an aerospace engineer and businessman who used his own personal fortune and earned through tech investments. He was a known maverick and had an adventurous soul who liked to break rules. He came from a very prominent American family. He was a descendant of two signers of the Declaration of Independence, Benjamin Rush and Richard Stockton. His wife, Wendy Rush, actually has connections to the Titanic. The co-owners of Macy's department store, Isidore and Ida Strauss, were Wendy's great-great-grandparents. They were one of the most famous passengers aboard the Titanic who perished in it. Thus, giving Rush the fuel to want to see the Titanic.
Yeah, totally. Your ancestors died on it. I would definitely be searching more into it just to figure out what happened to them and learn more about them.
Stockton Rush wanted to initially explore space. Realized that was too hard of a feat. And he was like, let's go underwater. And he even made the same statement that we all do, like 90% of our ocean isn't discovered. And he was like, all right, let's go to the ocean. The company OceanGate raised $36 million from private investors who believed in the deep sea tourism business idea. June 16th, 2023, the Polar Prince shipped out with Titan in tow from Port St. John's, Canada. It took about 2 days to reach the dive site and was located in international waters, roughly 400 miles off the coast of Newfoundland. June 18th, approximately 1 hour and 45 minutes into its descent, the submersible lost contact with the support ship, the Polar Prince. There were 5 people aboard the Titan. And I'm about to butcher these names.
Oh, that's okay. Dude, hold on. It took 2 days to get down there? It would have taken 2 days to get down to the Titanic, right?
From Canada, it took them 2 days to get to the dive site.
Oh, well, so like descending though.
No,
okay. I don't know why I thought 2 days. I was like, that's a long
I think
time.
they said it was supposed to take like 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
and they got almost 2 hours in before they lost contact with the polar prince. The people on board were Paul Henry Nagolet. He's a French deep sea explorer, Titanic's expert, and former French Navy commander. Hamish Harding, a British businessman, aviator, and explorer. These are the ones that are going to be really bad here. Shahzad Dawood, a Pakistani British businessman, and Suleiman Dawood, student and son of Shahzad Dawood. He's only 19 years old, and Stockton Rush himself. An hour and 45 minutes into their dive, they lost contact with the ship. A huge search and rescue operation happened for 4 days. The world watched as the U.S. Coast Guard, Canadian Coast Guard, and various private vessels scanned the ocean's surface and deep sea for signs of the missing vessel. Now, we remember this. I remember this like yesterday.
A huge thing. Yes, this was such a big deal. It was all over every paper, every news
social
channel.
Media.
Yes.
On June 22nd, the wreckage was discovered on the seafloor, roughly 1,600 feet from the Titanic. It was discovered that the submersible had suffered a catastrophic implosion, killing all 5 people on board instantly.
And that's due to the pressure of being that far underwater.
Yes.
Just imploded.
The materials that he used were not what he was supposed to use. This submersible actually only made contact with the Titanic shipwreck 13 times out of 90.
What do you mean?
So they had to obviously go to the shipwreck and practice before they even decided to take human lives on board this.
Yeah, okay.
So they attempted to reach the site 90 times and they've only successfully did it 13 times.
How does that happen? You have exact coordinates of where you're supposed to be going.
Well, it's because technical malfunctions, weather conditions, communications failures, navigation issues. But
you decided to take 5 people still after that?
That's literally just the beginning, though, because the Titanic was constructed using a hull made of carbon fiber and titanium. Rush had been publicly warned that carbon fiber was not a proven material for repeated deep sea dives and would not live under that extreme pressure. It's also of note that Rush had purchased this carbon fiber past its expiration date.
Wow.
Negligence.
Wow.
Just
negligence. It's like he was on the ship. The guy that did all this, he was on the boat or like the submersible. Why would you want to put your own self in that position when you, and obviously they paid a lot of money for them to take him down there. There was no reason he had to cheap out on the dang materials that they needed to make it. That's wild.
I remember when this happened, that's one of the things that had people up in arms. And to me, it was just, it's wrong to even think that way. Everybody on social media is like, oh, well, dead billionaires, like whatever. If you were given this opportunity to go see the Titanic and you had the means and the funds to do it and you were led down this path of believing that this was completely safe and sound, you would go.
Yeah.
I would go.
Yeah.
Even like my thalassophobia and knowing everything about it, I would go.
I would go if there wasn't 5 other people. I would be so claustrophobic. No. Haven't they had like unmanned?
Yes, they're called ROVs.
Yeah, they've been down there and they didn't implode.
No. I mean, obviously they're made out of different materials. Another thing, there's no human lives in them.
No, but they would still have imploded if the pressure broke what it was made out of, right?
Yeah, but I'm assuming that it's the smaller stature of them. It's also the shape of them.
I don't know how big the Titan is.
That shape that he made Ocean Gate in, and we've seen pictures of it, it looks like a torpedo. It's like cylindrical shaped.
Okay.
A lot of experts were like, that's just wrong on all ends because the amount of pressure is not hitting this submersible in an equal...
The correct ways. Yeah, okay.
Instead, it's hitting it weird all over the place. So usually submersibles are made like sphere so that it has equal pressure on all
sides. Okay. That would make sense. Yeah.
But he wanted to take people under there. He wanted tourism under the sea.
He was doing it. He did very poorly constructing the thing, but I obviously think that he genuinely thought it was okay because he was in it himself.
Yeah, that gets me.
But 90 times you went down in this already, and now on 91, that's what, like, when you want to take people, like, wouldn't you recreate the entire thing?
You would
and
think.
Start over?
You would think.
I don't. That's nuts.
You would, I mean, especially before you take other humans
negligent.
down there.
Yeah.
I don't want to like explicitly bash this guy because I can almost appreciate his desire, want to see this and want to share
Explore
it with other people,
bring other people. Yeah.
Like I can totally see that desire.
Again, I don't think he did it on purpose, but he was obviously very negligent in doing so. Like what he did was negligent.
He obviously didn't think he was going to die.
No, I mean, but
I'm sure there was.
He knowingly bought the material past its expiration date, and he was warned that what he was doing was not a good idea. And I mean, he had all these opportunities to not do what he did.
Yeah, or like recalibrate. Like, hey, we had this issue going down this time. We had this issue. Yeah. Like
communications issues is a huge deal. Like just that alone, I would not want to lose contact with my mothership.
They didn't have a GPS signal that was just taking them directly to this site. They actually could not see the site. They needed to be in constant contact with the polar prince in order to even find the wreck.
Which is why they only found it, 13 out of 90 times, because I'm sure they couldn't contact them those other, whatever.
That leads me to believe that it imploded immediately after losing contact.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think it reached the site. I mean, they were still hopeful after losing contact, and apparently they heard a sound.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's
because
that's all she wrote.
So this is actually really wild because of like the way, like the speed of sound, they actually heard this noise, but there was a delay. So they didn't think the sound was anything bad because they had heard from them after they heard the sound.
Like, so even if it imploded, they heard the sound of it imploding. Let's just say that's
that's what the sound was.
Yeah. The electronics or whatever was contacting them. I mean, the water and everything still had to break. After, or like water had to come in, all the electronics still had to break after that happened. So you know what I mean? Like there still should be like a delay.
They're saying that this killed them instantly.
Yeah, no, the people, but the electronics and all the communication devices, it might have happened after the water came in or something.
No, they're actually saying it's because of the speed of sound. That's why they lost contact after they heard the sound.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
Yeah, I guess it could go either way.
Something that I found really, really cool because we are from here is Pelagic Research Services based out of East Aurora, New York, were contacted because they specialize in deep sea operations and had Odysseus 6K, which is a high-tech remote control operated vehicle, an ROV. Odysseus with Pelagic Research Services were the first to make contact with the Titan wreck. They were also the ones to recover the debris of the wreck. I thought that was really cool because they're from East Aurora. Like they're out of East Aurora.
That is really cool.
Yeah. Okay. So we obviously have like a diving community around here, and the fact that they had the equipment that found it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is really cool.
Yeah, I like want to call them.
Okay. Hey, got anything laying around I could check out from the Titanic?
Yeah, like, hey, can you take me down there? Like, what's up? In 2022, Magellan Ltd., a deep sea exploration company, spent 6 weeks at the Titanic wreck with their ROV submersibles named Romeo and Juliet, collecting 700,000 high-resolution images of the Titanic. They used these images to create a digital twin of the Titanic, a one-to-one replica so detailed that you can see its serial numbers. These findings pretty much debunked the switch theory.
I don't think so. The whole propeller.
Yeah, I personally think that it's possible to buff them out and re-engrave. I don't know, like not even,
or just swap the propellers.
Yeah, but that's probably a lot more work than buffing out and re-engraving. I don't know. I don't think that they debunked that, but They probably just had to throw
Well,
it
they
in there.
quote unquote confirmed the whole numbers to prove that was the Titanic, air quotes.
Yeah. Which, you know, I give them credit for throwing that in there. It also showed that the steam valve was left open in the boiler room. This provided physical evidence supporting the theory that the engineering team stayed below deck until the very end, working to keep the lights on. We talked about that.
Yeah. So sweet.
It is. Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because they were like working class Irish. Like,
they're probably sweating their asses off just for nothing. Like at that point, my last moments, that is not what I would be doing, is trying to save ungrateful, greedy as billionaires.
I think that's not fair. I mean, they're not all greedy billionaires.
No, but you know what I mean? Like I'm slaving down here. It's probably 800 degrees in this place. And like, I'm going to die anyways. And these are my final moments. And that is not something that I personally, I don't have the stones that they had. There's no way.
That takes like true selflessness.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I don't have that.
I don't think many human beings do, let alone, I think it was 25 of them. That's crazy. 25 of them had made that decision to die for other people. And I mean,
while still working, just slaving away, knowing that it was doing good. Yeah, but it wasn't going to ultimately do anything to save the ship.
If they didn't keep those lights on, it would have been way worse, because it's pitch black out there. I mean, I'm
sure they saved a lot of people.
The literal only lights you would have is the stars.
Yeah.
And like they said, it was a moonless night, so I mean, they might not have even had the stars.
I definitely, they saved a lot of people by doing that.
This digital twin also confirmed that the ship did not suffer one massive continuous gash from the iceberg. Instead, the scan showed a series of punctures and tears along the hull, some of them the size of a sheet of paper. So this really makes me wonder, and going back to the movie Ghost Ship, I don't know if I have like a photographic memory when it comes to movies, but in the beginning of the movie, not after but
yeah, I know the part you're talking about.
When they're like repairing the ship to salvage them and they're doing underwater welding, I don't know if that's a thing that would happen back in 1812. I don't know if they had the technology to do that, but I wonder, is there something they could have done to like patch those holes then? If it's literally only this big, they should have been able to do something to stop the water from coming in.
Like the puncture was so small, but because of the force of the water coming in, it made it a lot larger to where they couldn't salvage that one part.
Then I agree. That would be incorrect then, because if they discovered at the wreckage that this hole was the size of a sheet of paper, like obviously the water didn't make it bigger.
No, I don't think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they discovered that at the site of the wreckage. I don't think they discovered the puncture holes. They did a simulation and said, based on the speed, the turning radius, the size of the iceberg, and all these factors, the simulation showed how it would have hit exactly.
Okay.
So
you're saying like,
I don't think
the pictures that they took, the images that they have, the hole could have been bigger than a piece of paper, but they're saying that
based on the simulation of exact numbers, factors, everything that's But I thought about that too. I don't think underwater,
some freaking pantyhose in there. Like, what the hell, man?
Right? Slap a cardboard box up there from tape it.
I mean, anything, just to give them more time, if anything, just more time. That leads me back to it again.
I genuinely think, and this is what makes the most sense to me, and obviously I have no idea what I'm talking about, so don't listen to me.
Yeah, none of us do.
But what makes the most sense to me would be the fact that even though it was so small, just the pressure of the water coming in that fast, there's nothing that they could have physically held up to do that it would have been coming in so quickly and at such force that it wouldn't have been plausible to do that. And it would have made the hole be bigger immediately. So
Yeah.
the puncture might have been small, but the hole was probably just like an implosion. It just pushes it. The force just makes it so much larger.
How far below sea level did this occur?
I don't think it was that far. I don't think it was.
Another question I had about this, and I don't know how far away they actually floated away from the iceberg after they struck it, because
they kind of bounced off
stopped,
of it.
right?
Yeah.
Like after they hit the iceberg.
Mhm.
So was the iceberg in the vicinity of the sinking?
I would think so. Unless it kept going, so it hit it. It didn't stop.
It didn't stop immediately.
I don't believe so. No, I think it pop, and then that's why they thought they were okay. And then, because everybody felt like a little jostle, and they were like, "Oh, what the heck?"
Crew knew.
Well, I just watched that one documentary, but I don't think that they were close to it. Still, I think they bounced off and then kept going away from
that
it.
they were cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that blows my theory
because they
out
were
of the
going.
water.
I mean, they were still going.
Yeah,
you researched at higher speeds than they should have been.
Yeah,
so.
I just wondered if, like, I'm thinking about myself in this situation, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to swim towards the biggest like thing that ain't going nowhere. I'm like, I would go to the iceberg and cling on for dear life.
Grab me some like kitchen knives and like
I don't know.
Climb up the thing. That's what I would do.
That thought comes to my mind.
I feel like the water though was so cold that they probably couldn't get more than 5 feet before just freezing up. Yeah, I'm
sure a lot of them actually got like sucked under from the pressure of the ship actually going down.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when they said like a lot of them didn't actually drown, they froze. I was like, well, I would have thought that part would have taken a lot more out.
But a lot of them jumped ship too.
So
knowing that they weren't, there was nothing that they could do.
Well, I really, so where can I even see this digital twin? Because I was like looking it up, and I don't think like this is available to the public yet.
I don't think it is.
But I'm like, I want
research
to see this so bad, because this would be the only way we will ever in our lifetime be able to see the Titanic. And like I said, it's leaving, like it's disintegrating. Even if like, let's say they did find a way in the future to do undersea tourism, like Stockton Rush tried to do, let's say somebody figures out how to do it the right way,
we won't be able to see it anyways. By then.
Well, they didn't give an estimation on like for how long it's going to take for Titanic to be taken back to the Earth.
Well, this happened in
a long time. So
1912. You said 1918, something there.
12.
I'm bad with years.
Yeah, me too.
But I mean, that's 100 plus years. 110 years.
So maybe we got some time with her. Let's figure it out. Let's stop trying to send freaking people to Mars.
Well, I know in another 100 years, it's already pretty bad, but I don't think it's good. I don't know. Maybe it'll last another 100 years, but they did say...
I ain't gonna last another 100 years.
No. They did say, though, that at one point in time, there was a lot more of it. Wasn't there like more of it showing, and then it just kind of went underneath the ground?
So they're saying when she actually sunk, like the impact jammed her into the earth.
Okay.
Rather than unbelievable, because the people didn't even think that the ship split in two when this first happened. Like I said, there was like trials on it.
There's so many different accounts.
Yeah, they just thought people were traumatized and out of their mind and didn't even believe them.
Well, I do recall from that documentary, they basically said that it wasn't just like a clean break, that it was like almost a city block wide of panels and pieces that broke. So it was more like a just massive,
like an explosion. I don't know.
It wasn't just like a clean, like.
I could only imagine the sound that made.
Oh my God. I would have been terrified.
So that's about all I have for today.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
I learned some new stuff that I didn't know for sure.
I want to see the Titanic.
I want to go to the Titanic Museum.
maybe we'll do that.
Yeah, I don't think that this is something that we'll ever stop learning about. I think that we'll always keep learning more and more and more about the Titanic, and I don't think it's gotten any less fascinating since day one. It's
2023. People out there still trying to see it and are absolutely fascinated
whole
by it.
Museums about it, and just, I mean, it's pretty neat.
It's crazy because there's so many other ships that have sunk and had maybe equal tragedies.
But this one was unsinkable.
Even Titanic's savior, the Carpathia, sank in a tragedy.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like, why the Titanic specifically? Why does that capture our minds and our hearts and our fascination? And
I think because it was unsinkable. So that was today's episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.